had no idea that I was going to have to or have, which sounds so weird.
By the time she was 14, Lana was dreaming big, but not in the way most teenagers do. Inspired by shows like The Girls Next Door and icons like Anna Nicole Smith, she had her sights set on the adult entertainment industry. Yes, at 14. When she told her school counsellors about her dream, they responded bluntly, "Maybe you should try therapy." To Lana, that response was more amusing than helpful. And years later, it became one of her favourite stories to laugh about. But back then, glamour was nowhere to be found. Her home life was troubled. Lana grew up feeling out of place, longing for something bigger than her small-town reality. Her family struggled financially, and she often escaped into fantasies of a better life. A life she thought the adult industry could provide. Escape became her primary motivation. Her room, it became a refuge. A place where she watched shows like The Girls Next Door. Dreaming of a glamorous future, she imagined a life of fame, wealth, and endless opportunities. But what she didn't understand then was how little control she would actually have in pursuing that dream. At 16, Lana fell in with the wrong crowd and ended up behind bars for over a year. But instead of letting it break her, she treated prison like a crash course in resilience. She learned to adapt, to shield herself from judgment, and to channel her ambition into a survival instinct. Prison, in her words, was a turning point. It saved her from a dangerous path, but also hardened her to the realities of the world. Her time in prison forced her to reflect. She read books, she journaled, and made promises to herself to change her life. It was during this period that she started to develop the resilience that would become a defining trait in her life. Lana became laser-focused on leaving her past behind, but she didn't yet know how to do that. When she came out, she was more determined than ever, or at least committed to never wearing an orange jumpsuit again. Life outside prison, however, wasn't kind. Her options? Limited. She needed a way out, and she needed it fast. She worked low-paying jobs and struggled to find stability, but the dream of a glamorous life remained. At 18, Lana made a big life move. Marriage. She tied the knot with a Syrian immigrant nearly twice her age. But this was no fairy tale. When her husband's legal troubles landed him in prison, Lana was left to face the world, completely alone. She was just a teenager, trying to navigate an adult world, filled with chaos and uncertainty. Her marriage? A lesson in control and isolation. Her husband tried to limit her freedom, monitoring her friendships, even her spending. It was during this period that Lana realised just how much she had been relying on others to provide for her. She wanted financial independence, but she also felt trapped by her circumstances. But rather than letting it defeat her, it lit a fire in her, a fire to chase financial independence and take control of her future. At 19, Lana took a leap. She entered the adult film industry. She was young, hopeful, and naive. Looking back, she laughs and says, "Wow, I had no idea what I was doing." Her entry into the industry was spurred by the promise of glamour. But reality? It had other plans. She soon realised the fantasy she had envisioned was nothing like the truth. "I didn't even know what I was getting into," she later confessed. "I'd only been with one person at that point." She quickly found herself signing contracts she didn't fully understand, working long hours and filming scenes. That made her question her decisions. The money? It was better than anything she had ever earned, but it came at a cost she didn't fully understand until much later. In 2016, Lana made her debut in the industry, hoping it would be her golden ticket to a life of glamour. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Her career lasted just 8 months, split into 2 4-month stints. And yet, she became one of the most recognisable names in adult entertainment. By 2019, Lana was the most searched actress on Pornhub. 345 million views. But behind the viral fame, there was a much darker story. The industry was exploitative. Lana was often asked to perform scenes that she didn't agree with. One particularly dark memory still haunts her. She was coerced into degrading acts during a scene, a moment that left her traumatized, plagued by panic attacks and even suicidal thoughts. She revealed, "I didn't know how to say no." Therapy was no longer an option. It was essential. Lana began to realize the industry she once dreamed of wasn't built for people like her to succeed. It was built to exploit their youth, beauty, and naivety. Lana deeply regrets her time in the adult industry. She speaks openly about its dark side and how it preys on young, vulnerable performers. "The industry made me feel like I had no choice," she once said. "It stripped me of my dignity." She urges for change, raising the minimum age to 21, arguing that teenagers lack the maturity to make such life-altering decisions. By 2017, Lana walked away, and she didn't leave a millionaire. She had just around $100,000 to her name, and to her, it was far too little to justify everything she endured. Walking away wasn't a career decision. It was a matter of survival. In the years following her exit, she devoted herself to understanding the impact of her trauma, going to counselling, and finding herself outside of the industry. Today, Lana uses her platform to warn others, to expose the industry's harsh realities. But here's the twist. Lana has built a multi-million-dollar business empire on platforms like Onlyfans. The same woman who says adult films should be banned now makes a fortune selling a sexualized image of herself. "It's not that glamorous," she warns, but it's a lucrative escape. Her success has sparked debate. Is she a critic of the system or a participant in it? Her choices have raised questions about how she reconciles her message with her business decisions. She insists, "My content is self-made and controlled, unlike the environment I left behind." Has Lana truly reinvented herself? Or has she simply found a way to commercialize her regrets? In January 2022, Lana became a mother. Her son Milo changed everything. She now focuses on being the best mom she can be. She also speaks passionately about compassion, advocacy, and the importance of giving back. On weekends, she and Milo pack care kits for the homeless, a tradition she hopes will instill values in him. But as she embraces this new chapter, the internet still remembers. And Lana knows she can never fully escape her past. She's a survivor, a storyteller, a woman who chose to rewrite her narrative. But in the eyes of many, her journey remains complicated, a story full of contradictions and questions that linger. Lana Rhoades' story is about grit, trauma, and transformation. But it also reminds us that redemption and contradiction often walk hand in hand. Has she escaped the industry she once dreamed of? Or is she still trapped in a different kind of cage? That's for you to decide.